Hi guys, welcome back to Unveiling with Nisi. I know, she has been so inconsistent. I really have been, and that is because I've just been dealing with Azalea's allergies, and basically, we are currently working on getting her in with an allergist to see if we can get a panel and kind of see what she's really like, try to pinpoint what she's really allergic to. So, for the past few weeks, we have just really been battling with getting her medications for her itching and her swellings and trying to make her as comfortable as possible. So, yeah, if you deal with allergies on a day to day basis, you kind of understand what she is currently going through. Or if you have a child that deals with allergies, you kind of understand what we as the parents are going through. So, yeah, I am super excited to dive into this week's episode because we will be talking about taking time for yourself so you can be better for others. And this is a big thing because sometimes we don't stop, right? And I always say this, if you don't learn to stop when you are running on E, life will make you stop. Life will make you slow down. So, in my last episode, I was able to touch on some stressors in my life and what I'm doing to alleviate it. The big one was that I had left my job. So, right now, if you did not get a chance to check out that episode, please head over to Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and guys, we are now on Google Podcasts. So you can always check out any of those platforms and basically have a listen. I am also posting my episodes on YouTube, so you can check out my YouTube channel, Nisian's Journal, under the playlist podcast if you want to check out my episodes. Okay, again, guys, thank you and welcome to Unveiling with Nisi. Hey, this is Nisian, and you are tuned into Unveiling with Nisi. In this podcast, I want to share some of my life experiences that incorporate both personal growth and how I overcame some challenges I faced on my journey to a more peaceful life. I strongly believe in the saying, each one teach one, because everyone has some lesson or advice that can lead to personal or professional growth in another. I want to use this platform to invite friends, family, and friends that will eventually become family to share their lived experiences as well. Stories will be shared about my personal experiences in relationships, friendships, and hardships that made me into the woman I am today. There will be difficult conversations, and there will also be easy ones. But the difficult ones are what I love to share. Through difficult conversations, we can find answers that we never knew we wanted. These answers bring us both peace and some level of acceptance, in my opinion. So come on a journey with me as I create space not just to release through conversations, but to also have you as my listeners take something away at the end of the discussions. As a mother, a wife, and an employee, I can tell you I took no time for myself. I was in go mode when it came to work, childcare, yard work, and tending to my husband's needs. Not to mention, I started looking back into travel contracts and I was getting very overwhelmed about going back to bedside. As much as I needed the necessary break from bedside, I start to realize that this is where I am being called and this is where I'm thinking to go back, right? And going back to bedside, not as a staff, but as a traveler, because that is where my love is. Doing short term contracts or considered long term, which would be 3 months. I think that is where I am more comfortable. There is a end goal, and that end goal will allow me to take breaks, right? So I'm starting to work on accepting that I do not work well as a staff nurse. I work better as a contract nurse where I just go in, do my job, and get out, right? So that is where I'm at in life right now. But I had to take a whole step back, right? I had to take a big step back because there was too many things going on, and then I started to incorporate looking for travel contracts in that, and that was not going to work, right? You're taking a break, why are you looking for a contract? But it's just that thing in me to always want to plan ahead. But in all honesty, I don't need to plan ahead right now. I have a couple weeks ahead. Take the break, stop, think, right? Think this through. Do not just try to jump from one thing to the next. By taking time for yourself, it will help you to recharge. In many cases, I have felt low moods are just very low energy because I was not feeling or feeding into my happiness. I was too focused on the needs of others, whether that was at my job or at home. By choosing activities that allow you to recharge, you will give the energy you need to be present for yourself and your loved ones. This will prevent you from always feeling exhausted and having those very low moods. As much as a lot of people like to say, oh, do not be selfish, sometimes you have to be selfish with your needs. Be selfish because at the end of the day, it is necessary for your mental health. Additionally, I have lost my social spirit along the way in life, whether this is coming from being burnt out or just overwhelmed with life. Also, a lot of it was due to being placed in multiple awkward situations and in social spaces that did not bring me comfort. I'm slowly but surely working on getting out of this phase by going out more. And when I say go out, I'm not talking about going to huge events or parties, but more of taking baby steps. I'm placing myself in social environments and being aware of social discomforts and seeking to understand what in that situation may be causing me this discomfort. This will eventually force me to work through these emotions. And although it may feel hard to, or it may be hard for me to kind of just give in to work on understanding what is happening in that present moment, I have to push myself to get through it because eventually this will lead to self-development. So 2 big steps happened the other day that is worth mentioning. In my previous episode, I spoke about gardening and how it has brought me so much joy. Since I'm outside a little bit more, I say a little because Florida is way too hot outside, okay? So you can't be outside a lot in Florida. You will burn. Anyways, I was outside and this allowed me to see my neighbors more, and I was able to sit with one of my neighbors in their garage and had a little powwow. We discussed life events and had many conversations about how we do not know our neighbors, and it would be nice to have these little chats now and then. Her daughter came in from work after and joined in the conversation, and it was just wholesome. In all honesty, it was special to me because if I did not leave my job, I would not have found the time to do this on a regular weekday. This sit down brought me joy and even an invitation to a church event. Although I'm unable to partake in this event right now because of the preparation for back to school for Azalea, I did tell her to keep me posted about the other ones that will be coming up. The next big thing that happened was that I went to my local library and borrowed some books about sewing, as this will be my new hobby. I was able to have small talk with the librarian and she offered additional information that I did not know. For example, it was a smaller library and I thought they did not have certain books I needed. So I kept going to the Claremont Library, which was an 18-minute drive. The librarian informed me that I can use the app to search for the books I needed and order them to be delivered to my local library, and they will hold it for 5 days for me to pick them up. I was like, this is amazing. My drive is now cut down to 8 minutes. If I had not stopped by, I would not have known this information. I would have just been driving to Claremont and just driving back and forth and not knowing that I could cut my drive in less than half, right? So I was grateful for this information. Basically, having these small talks just opened up a little bit more and it allowed me to be more social and I feel comfortable, right? I haven't hit that moment of discomfort as yet, but for the most part, it's just giving a new meaning to everything that is happening around me or in my life. So this may not seem big to others, but it's very big to me. We have gotten so used to socializing through our phones that we have lost the true beauty of face-to-face conversations. So I am just living for this. Okay. As I previously mentioned, my new hobby is sewing. I'm focusing on learning this lovely skill. I always dream of making skirts for myself because I love skirts, from big poofy skirts to pencil tight mini skirts. That will be my main goal once I get the hang of sewing. My current project is an outfit for Azalea to do a photo shoot. It is coming along slowly but surely. With every stitch, I feel more and more proud. By picking up this hobby, I am engaging in activities that bring me happiness and some level of relaxation. This helps to improve my mood. By improving my mood, it helps with my overall emotional well-being that leads to positive state of mind and better interactions with myself and others. Lately, many of my friends have said that they admire me for prioritizing my self-care over an income. While I adore this admiration, please understand that taking this step was not easy and came with many sacrifices. It also came with financial sacrifices, but it was a necessary step because it created me time. I encourage any and everyone that can take a break to take it. And if you're not able to, work on prioritizing your well-being. While we are on the topic of prioritizing, by prioritizing your time for yourself, you can set healthy boundaries in your life. This prevents you from overextending yourself to certain commitments and allows you to manage your time well. Therefore, anything you work on will have your full attention and you will in turn make more meaningful contributions. I have learned this over time. Trust me, it did not come overnight. Even planning is still hard because there's always something to work on or there's always something popping up. But when you put the necessary work into prioritizing your life, everything will be so much better and makes life just a little bit easier. The final thing I want to leave you with is to take care of yourself. When you take care of your physical and your mental health, you develop a deeper compassion and empathy for yourself and others. You will notice your own needs and sometimes the needs of others, and that, my friend, is something we should all strive for. I hope that one day I will be a part of a meaningful and loving community where we all look out for each other. Until then, I will continue the self-work needed for such an environment. Have a wonderful weekend, my loves. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and unveil with me. This was Unveiling with Nisi.